guys, it's Victoria. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to talk to you about the books that I plan on reading in September, but I'm just gonna throw it out there right now and say that it's already a week into September and the reading is slow going. Literally the only reading that I've been able to mentally handle has been on weekends. When I try to read at home after work, I end up just falling asleep because I've been working like 10 and 12-hour days pretty much every day. And so, yeah, so that's how life is going. Nonetheless, I still set goals for myself because I'm an idiot like that. The first book that I plan on finishing possibly this weekend, if I can be disciplined enough to read a lot, but I'm a little over halfway through The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and I'm really enjoying it. I have a feeling this book is going to be one of my favorites of the year. I'm just gonna predict that right now. I definitely predict this to be a 5-star read for me, and it's just really beautifully written, and I'm really invested in the characters and their stories, and I'm knowing that it's going to be sad because most of the people that I've seen talk about this book just say that they bawled their eyes out at the end, so I'm getting prepared for that to happen. But right now I'm just engrossed in the story. This is a World War II novel based around the women who were kind of left behind in the war, and we follow two sisters and you see their lives and how they have two very different things happening to them in the war, but it's kind of a picture of what women were doing during the war, and some of them were more activist and some of them were at home. And so I'm dying to know what happens to these two sisters. It's World War II in France, and so the Germans have occupied France at this point, and we're just right now starting to see, or the characters are starting to see the Germans start to take away the Jewish people in their community and relocate them. And so the characters are right now kind of trying to figure out what's going on and why that's happening and where are they taking all the Jews. And so yeah, I'm just ready for this to break my heart, and it's really good. I haven't read a lot of historical fiction this year, and I think the one or two that I've read haven't like blown my mind. So I'm ready for this to be really good. It already is really good. I would also really like to finish the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. I'm on the 5th book, which is entitled The Last Olympian. I'm actually just a little bit fuzzy on the plot of the 4th book, the one right before this, because I did it on audio and I just don't tend to process things as well on audio, so I might like have to read a little recap of book 4 before I pick up book 5. And this book we will conclude our adventures, and everything is building up to this final volume. So love Rick Riordan, really have enjoyed this series so far, so I'm hoping the final volume doesn't let me down. I'm sure it won't. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm also working my way through the Wizard of Earthsea series, and right now I'm on the 5th book. Oh, and this is by Ursula K. Le Guin, by the way. From what I understand, Tales from Earthsea is more like a collection of short stories from the Earthsea world. Yeah, so it's more like a bunch of novellas and short stories about Earthsea. So this will be interesting. And I know there's one more book in this series called The Other Wind, and I'm just kind of confused because if this is a book of short stories, what is the next volume? Is it also short stories? Or is it something else? I'm not sure. So yeah, I have been putting this on my TBR for the past couple months and I just haven't been getting to it. I have to be in the right space for Ursula K. Le Guin, I'm learning, because I find her writing style can be a little bit dry, and I have to kind of push myself and really focus because I get a little lost in her stories and her writing style. And so this I just have to really like sit down and pay close attention to. But yeah, so really want to get to that this September so I can finish up this Earthsea adventure that I'm having. Every month I try to reread a book, and right now I am in the middle of the it's not the Wrinkle in Time series, it's called the Time Quintet. And so I'm on the 2nd book right now, A Wind in the Door by Madeleine L'Engle. And I read A Wrinkle in Time last month, And I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as I remembered liking it from childhood. And so curious to see what happens with this one. I think in this one, the science, the sci-fi part of this is more into like small particle science. And so the Wrinkle in Time is more about like time travel science. And all I know about this one is that there's dragons and cherubim, and is there some kind of bacteria, if I remember correctly? I think that might be the third book that I'm thinking of, but yeah. So I don't mind going into these blindly because I do think Madeleine L'Engle is an excellent writer, and it's going to be interesting. I don't remember barely any of the plot from childhood, so yes, a wind in the door. We'll definitely make this a priority. Might be an audiobook for me so that I can get to it if I have time. Might be an audiobook. Every month I've also been trying to read a new release book, and this month I'm really excited about my new release pick, and that is a Juliet Marillier book, Marillier, and that is The Harp of Kings. Our main characters are musicians. I think our female main character is a singer and whistle player, and our male main character, her brother, is a harpist. And so there is, I think, a competition happening, and these two characters are wanting to enter that competition, and they're training for the competition. And then I think they get sent on a mission to find and retrieve a precious harp, which is important to their society, because if this harp is not played at the upcoming coronation of the king, then the people will not accept the king as their own, and there will be chaos in their world. This is actually my first Juliet Marillier book because I've just heard a lot of great things about her, but I haven't delved into the world. She writes a lot of Irish-inspired fantasy and Celtic fantasy, which is something I know nothing about and haven't really read before. I've just heard some people really rave about her, and I've been wanting to pick it up, and I think this is an okay place to start. This is the beginning of a new series, and so I think there are some crossovers between another series of hers, but from everything that I've researched about this book, I can jump in without being too lost, and so crossing our fingers on that one that I'm right about that. I'm gonna be honest with you, I very nearly forgot to talk about this book. I forgot about it. But this is a book that I'm supposed to read for my church book club, which is probably why I forgot about it. And it's also one that I'm not super excited about, and jury's still out on whether or not I will actually read this. Maybe I will skip this month. But it's not a hard book to read. It's very small. It's When God Winks at You by Squire Rushnell. And sometimes my church picks good books, and sometimes I'm skeptical about them. This is one that I'm skeptical about just because it seems like it's maybe like a little too, I don't know how to describe it, too light and fluffy for me. Okay, let me just explain. When I read books about my faith and about God and Christianity, I like to read books with a little more substance. This one seems like more of a feel-good self-help kind of book, which I'm never really interested in, and so I could be wrong about this, but this is about like little moments in your life when God winks at you, which I already, that cheesy terminology already bothers me a little bit, but maybe I shouldn't be so judgmental with these books. I'm gonna maybe try it. I don't know. I figure I should add it to my TBR because it's technically a book I should be reading, but I'm also gonna be honest with myself, and if I'm just not interested, I shouldn't waste my time on it. I don't know. Maybe I'll try the beginning of it. Maybe there's an audiobook version of this. That would help, actually. That might help me. So I'll have to look into that. And then finally, if I get around to it, I will be picking up the 7th volume of Fruits Basket by Natsuki Takaya. I'm working my way through this series for the first time in my life. I'm very new to manga and the whole world of anime and manga. And so Fruits Basket was one I picked because a friend from high school really enjoyed it, and I had remembered that. And it's definitely very young. It reads like a very young series, and it's aimed towards like the teenage girl population, which is exactly what my friend was when she was reading this. And so some things I'm like, okay, I don't really care about this plot point or this character, but it's also super cute, and there are some interesting character developments that have happened. It seems like every character has like a tragic backstory, and so every volume has like revealed one of the tragic backstories, but it is very cute. And so I don't even know how many volumes there are in this special edition. This is a collector's edition, but I really like the cover, and it's my favorite shade of green, and so it's also just adorable in that way. But we'll see if I can get to it. I know I can read this in like a few hours if I push myself, so it's not priority this month, but maybe we can squeeze it in. Alright, that's everything I'm planning on reading in September. Let me know if you have read any of these, if you are excited about me reading any of these, and let me know what you're gonna read in September. I really can't believe that it's September. It's still 100 degrees where I live pretty much every day, and so I feel like it's still summer, but it probably won't stop me from starting to make a fall TBR and getting excited about drinking pumpkin spice lattes because I'm basic like that. I hope you have a great reading month, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.